Hello and welcome to Threefold Herbal Healing. I'm Herbalist Leo, and today I wanted to speak about food and the brain. So the way your diet influence how well your brain function, from focus, memory, mood disorders, um, to really more serious condition like MS, anxiety, depression, and degenerative disease like Alzheimer and Parkinson. What's really going on there? Um, yeah, so your brain is always on. There is no, from the moment probably before you're born until you leave this body, your brain is constantly working. It manages your heartbeat, your breathing, your thoughts, your feeling. Even when you're asleep, your brain still works. This means that your brain needs a constant, around the clock fuel source to keep it functioning. The food that you eat fuel your brain. The nutrients or anti-nutrient in your plate makes a huge difference in the well-being of your brain. And that, of course, influences your your entire body and the way you functioned and your achievement, your entire life, basically. In 2017, WHO, the World Health Organization, reported that 10% of the people in the world on this planet were struggling with mental health, with anxiety and depression being the most prominent mental health conditions. In the US, the numbers are even more staggering. 20% of Americans are struggling with mental health. That is 1 in 5 people that are challenged by mental health in America. According to the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, the rate of ADHD increased by 41% between 2003 to 2012. In the 70s, bipolar was diagnosed in around 1% of Americans every year. Now, or by early 2000, 4 to 7 Americans were diagnosed with bipolar yearly. That's a huge jump. Suicide rates increased too in most states in the US between 1999 and 2016. This is even before COVID, with some states showing an increase of 30% in suicide rates. Research done by the insurance company Blue Shield Blue Cross found that the diagnosis rate of dementia in people that are between 30 and 34 of age and 64 of age increased between 2013 to 2017 by 200%, which is huge. So a lot more of us are struggling with memory loss. So it's all clearly evidence that we have a problem with brain health, that our brain is deteriorating. And the increase in condition related to the brain is not because we don't have enough medications or treatment for the brain. It's not because we have some kind of pharmaceutical deficiencies. That's not the story. It's rather the lifestyle that we all live that doesn't really support the nervous system. So what will support the nervous system? Healthy, nutrient-dense diet, eat the rainbow and all of that. We will talk about this today. Moving every day, some kind of movement. Sedentary lifestyle does not support the nervous system. Rest and sleep are essential for a healthy nervous system. And reducing stress is very important for the nervous system. So today I want to focus especially about how your diet can support your nervous system. And we will start with talking about fast food or processed food. So I like to call it fast food, slow thinking. because fast food is really bad for your ability to think, to focus, to remember. So why is that? First, let's talk about food additive. Fast food contains a lot of food additive because it doesn't have a long enough shelf life. A lot of it is standing on shelves in the supermarket for a long period of time or in warehouses where they are stored for forever. But the quality of the ingredient is so degraded that they need additive to increase the way they look, so they will look more appealing, so people would like to eat them. Otherwise, they are not appealing to people. So they add all kinds of coloring agent to them. They also enhance their tastes because they really don't taste very well without those additive. And they want all those boxes with cereal and pasta and all the fast food to basically, or processed food to basically have an extended shelf life. So they put all those chemicals that they call additive in them. Food additive influence your gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome is a host of bacteria, viruses, and fungi that eat leftovers that you cannot digest. So you eat food, and what you are not digesting, your microbiome eat. And when they eat, they produce short-chain fatty acid. Those short-chain fatty acid produce the neurotransmitter serotonin and dopamine in the gut, and they also regulate neurotransmitters in your brain via the vagus nerve. This is the longest and thickest nerve in the body that starts in your brain and goes all the way down into your digestive system through the throat and the heart, and it's really an important nerve. And frequent use of food laden with food additives is associated with ADHD, autism, degenerative brain disorders such as Alzheimer and Parkinson's disease. So this is very important that if you eat processed food or fast food most of your life, and then you reach your middle ages, you're in your 40s and 50s, your chances of Alzheimer and Parkinson just increased so much because of your diet. So we are talking not about changing your diet when you start to observe the first signs of brain degeneration, but about having a healthy diet, a nutrient-dense diet, a diet of fresh food from birth, because your brain is developing all the time, and we now know that the brain doesn't stop developing when you're an adult. So never too late. Another common ingredient in most of processed food and fast food is sugar. Sugar is added to food to enhance the taste, because the taste of most processed food or fast food is really not good without adding sugar to it. But also, sugar is added to almost everything that you buy in the supermarket if it's not meat and produce. It's added to your salad dressing, to your ketchup and mustard, to your mayo, to soups. I mean, some form of sugar, be it sugar, fructose, corn syrup, is added to anything that you buy in supermarket that is in a box or a bottle. And that has huge implication on your metabolism. The metabolism is the process of energy production in your body, and it happens in every one of your cells. What happens is that the body breaks down sugars and carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are basically sugar molecules, and it breaks them down and make glucose of them. And glucose is the main energy source to all the cells in the body, and cells need energy in order to function. So if your cells don't function, your tissue don't function, your organs don't function, and then you feel fatigue and sick. Too much fuel, too much glucose, burn the cells down. It's causes cell damage. If you don't have enough sugar, if you have a dip, if you have not enough sugar in your blood, then your cells are starving and they can't function without fuel in the same way that your car cannot function without fuel. The brain needs constant, steady fuel flow of glucose into the neurons. When neurons get too much or too little glucose, they become damaged. So we all the time hear about insulin resistance and high glucose level. It's important to know it's not the high, it's the low too. So if your glucose level are not constant, steady, but fluctuating all the time, this is very damaging for your entire body, but to the brain, most importantly. And the brain, of course, have implication for all the body. Iron lows in blood glucose is associated with insulin resistance, type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and now we are told that also type 3 diabetes, which is what some doctors call a dementia. High blood glucose level can lead to brain atrophy or shrinkage, so cells die and the brain shrinks. It can also lead to small blood vessel disease. This is a disease where small blood vessel constrict and less blood can flow into certain areas of the brain. And what happens, less blood flow means less nutrient to those areas, less oxygen to those areas, leading to vascular dementia. Hyperglycemia is the condition of dip in blood sugar. So you don't have enough blood sugar in the blood and cells don't get enough fuel to fuel their function, to work. And that is linked to problems with depression, memory, and attentions. So what do you do to avoid the highs and dips in blood glucose? You want to always take in glucose or carbohydrate in the context of fiber. So you want to take all off your plate all the simple carbohydrate that doesn't come with fiber. So that's potatoes and white rice and baked good and white bread. Anything that doesn't have fibers in it. Cereal, sugar, all of that off the plate. You want to consume carbohydrate because they are important. You need glucose, but you need this glucose to come into your blood in a steady way. And what helps it come into the blood in a steady way is fiber. So you want to take the carbohydrate with fiber. That means fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. That will help keep your glucose level more steady. The other thing that can help you is eating your carbohydrate in the context of protein and fat, because they will slow down absorption into the blood and make it more steady. One more thing that is important to actually use is magnesium. Magnesium is a mineral that is essential for energy production, muscle relaxation, blood pressure, and nerve function. The USDA, the United States Federal Government Agriculture Office, is doing every decade or so an analysis of common foods, common vegetables, where then they analyze the nutrient in those foods and vegetables. And what they show is a decrease, a dramatic decrease actually, since the 30s to today, in the amount of magnesium in common vegetables like spinach. So you can actually eat today the same amount of spinach that you ate 50 years ago and get less magnesium in your spinach than what you or your parents got 50 years ago. So that's important to know. And because magnesium is so important for energy production, for muscle relaxation, for blood pressure, and for nerve function, it's a dramatic effect. Magnesium helps regulate metabolism in every cell of the body. So part of the process of creating energy, you need magnesium for it. And that process happens in the mitochondria of each cells. Organs that need more energy in order to function, like the brain that all the time need to work, have more mitochondria in their cells. And because the brain never rests, it consumes a lot of energy. That means that it needs more magnesium. Magnesium also harmonizes nerve signals transmission and preserves the integrity of the blood-brain barrier. Deficiency in magnesium can lead to neuroinflammation, a condition associated with degenerative diseases such as MS, Alzheimer, and Parkinson's. So if you have muscle cramps, if you have a high blood pressure, magnesium might be helpful because really you can have magnesium with food, but sometimes if you had cramps like muscle cramp or irritated leg syndrome, it's a sign that what you're getting in your food is not enough. So food that are high in magnesium are banana, dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, nuts, walnuts, almonds, cashews, seed like chia and pumpkin, legumes like beans and lentils, avocado, and my personal favorite, dark chocolate. Another important compound for your brain is omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acid is an essential fatty acid. What it means is that your body does not produce omega-3 fatty acid. You need to consume it in your diet. About 50 to 60% of your brain weight is made out of fats, of which 35% are omega-3. The quality of the fats you consume in your diet is detrimental to the quality of your brain cells. If you want your brain to look like the cooking oil in McDonald's, keep eating the Happy Meal. But there is a good chance that the Happy Meal may lead to depression. The benefit of omega-3 for the brain are due to its anti-inflammatory effects. So they reduce brain inflammation, which is very, very important. Omega-3 improve learning, focus, memory, cognitive well-being, and blood flow to the brain. Supplementing with fish oil, a source of omega-3, was found to improve depressive symptoms in people with depression. And what they found was that people with depression can use omega-3 as much as they use SSRI or antidepressants. So the effect of omega-3 was comparable to that of antidepressant medications. The best source of omega-3 is cold water, small or mid-sized fish, such as sardines and salmon. You can also supplement with 400 EPA DHA fish oil, especially if you are struggling with inflammation, insomnia, brain fog, and depression. Food is not just calorie. It is language that made out of minute amount of chemical compounds that speak a language that your body can understand. When we talk about a diet, many times we are talking about macronutrients like carbs and proteins and fats. Or we talk about micronutrients like minerals. But food is information, it is energy, it is vitality. The quality of your food is really detrimental for your well-being, and that includes your brain health. If you want your brain to be healthy, you want to avoid degenerative disease, you want to increase your mood and avoid mood disorders like anxiety and depression, you really want to feed your brain. I once took a class that was called Keep Your Brain Brilliant. And a huge part of it was really about food that support brain function. So you want to nourish your brain with food that is anti-inflammatory and full of nourishment, and avoid foods that are toxic, that are anti-nutrient, that will harm your brain. So this is for today. I hope it's beneficial. I hope it will help you find your way in this really journey toward health and brain health and prevent medicine. Remember the word prevent, because you don't start when you get sick. You start now, you start today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Also, if you have ideas, you have any important thing you want to reflect on, I would love to hear from you and share your ideas. I would love that. Otherwise, that's it. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.